Today, I would like to discuss the issue of foreign nationals driving in Japan and causing fatal accidents. As many of you know, there are a large number of foreigners in Japan today. Given my familiarity with the situation in China, I'll first explain what the situation is like domestically in China and then discuss the issues that arise when Chinese nationals drive in Japan. Please take a look at this article. It's about drunk driving in China. Although drinking and driving is prohibited in China, many people still do it. The article notes certain trends regarding this violation, some of which might surprise Japanese readers. For instance, drinking and driving incidents are most common between 1 o'clock and 2:30 p.m. This is quite different from the common perception in Japan, where people usually think of drunk driving as something that happens after evening social gatherings. However, in China, it's common for people to drink during lunch and then drive, often leading to accidents. According to the article, around 1/3 of alcohol-related accidents occur during this time frame. Another period when drunk driving incidents increase is between 8 p.m. on the weekend and 2 a.m. the following day, accounting for about 30% of weekly incidents. During major holidays like the Mid-Autumn Festival or Chinese New Year, the number of incidents also rises as people travel to meet family and friends, and drinking at these gatherings is frequent. Additionally, reports show that incidents increase on dates ending in 5 or 0. But this is likely due to police conducting more roadside checks on these dates, rather than people drinking more on these days. From a Japanese perspective, the prevalence of drinking-related accidents during daytime hours is particularly notable. While the pattern of weekend and holiday drinking and driving is understandable, the frequency of daytime drinking should be recognized. There's also a recent trend in rural China where drunk driving is on the rise. This article from 2 years ago remains relevant today. Rural areas often have close-knit communities where socializing over drinks is difficult to refuse, reflecting certain cultural aspects of China. In rural China, enforcement against drunk driving is often lax, and the perception that one can avoid getting caught is common. This is compounded by a lower sense of legal compliance, where people tend not to follow rules unless there's direct oversight. For those coming from countries with such mindsets, adjusting to Japanese traffic norms can be challenging. Japan drives on the left, while China, like most countries, drives on the right. So, individuals who have been driving in China might struggle to adapt to the new direction in Japan. Pedestrians always have the right-of-way in Japan, but in China, cars typically take precedence, sometimes accelerating to discourage pedestrians from crossing. This cultural and directional difference alone makes for a risky adjustment. Legally speaking, a Chinese driver's license does not permit someone to drive in Japan. While Chinese nationals can't get an international license using their own Chinese license, some go to third countries such as Hong Kong or Macau to obtain an international driving permit. This creates a loophole where people who have been driving in China recently can come to Japan and drive legally, which is dangerous given the stark differences in driving customs and road rules. Additionally, there are problems with unlicensed or uninsured drivers. In serious accidents, these individuals are often unable to cover the victim's damages. This issue cannot be ignored, especially when more foreigners are coming to Japan. If no measures are taken to support victims, public sentiment may turn against foreign entry altogether. China also faces issues with reckless driving, like driving against traffic on highways. While Japan also has similar cases, in China, it happens more openly, even on major highways. Dangerous behavior is often penalized more severely in China than in Japan, with prison terms of 7 years or more for severe cases. In Japan, penalties are generally more lenient, which may lead some Chinese individuals to think that reckless behavior here is acceptable, which is problematic. On the Japanese side, there's been little effort to address issues that come with increasing foreign entry. While there's a strong push to bring people in, the response to potential risks has been weak. The lenient handling of traffic violations also plays a part. Judges tend to follow previous precedents, which results in fairly light sentences. The government's leniency in safeguarding Japanese citizens from potential foreign-related risks should be questioned. If foreigners enter Japan, the rules regarding compensation for damages they cause, even if uninsured, must be strengthened. Furthermore, a system should be established where guarantors are responsible for any damages caused by foreign nationals who cannot cover them. Otherwise, we risk bringing in people who pose serious dangers.